Hey guys, T-Bull here. Today we got a game in the Tier 7 Italian Cruiser Amalfi. I got Mimboli on the screen there. We got speed and concealment. It's kind of the focus of this build. That's what the Amalfi is good at out of the box. And if we slap Macau on there and Von Mueller, we get boost to that. Usually my strategy for the Amalfi is get into kind of an advanced position early that a lot of ships, most ships, couldn't get into. You got really tight concealment, that close in blue ring on the map there, and killer speed, and easily the fastest cruiser at the tier, at least how my ships are set up. So you can get into these kind of positions that the enemy is not going to expect you to get into, allowing you to exert control over portions of the map that usually are hard to get control of early on. But here we're on the Northern Waters, or whatever this map's called. It's kind of a column map. Now we're in the middle here, and we got one destroyer on our team, so I'm not inclined to necessarily play away from that destroyer. Usually, if we got one destroyer, I'm gonna try and support them, see what they're doing, and if it's a play I can make to support them, then we're gonna go ahead and do that. For some reason, our team's conceding C right off the bat. Very bizarre decision making, but very common. Doesn't make much sense if you think about it. Why would we spot the enemy source of 3 points every 5 seconds that they're going to have easy access to from the beginning of the game? But we're not in control of our teammates' strategy necessarily. We can only control our own. Eugen, he's squirting by there. We're going to try and switch over to the AP and blast him, but we kind of squirted too far forward here. Waiting to see if that destroyer gets on B, because as of right now, it looks, based on what he's spotting, that it should be clear. We, of course, don't yet know where the red destroyer is. So I'm just going to back up here. Still got the AP loaded. I would prefer to switch over to the HE here, just in case we spot that destroyer. One destroyer per team match, that ship is extremely valuable. So if you can take it off the board early, that'll give you a huge advantage. And this game, the red destroyer is going to illustrate the importance of spotting quite well for us. He actually does a very good job, and that's one of the reasons that I've saved this game for a while here to cover, and one of the reasons that I'm making a video out of it, just so we can evaluate what it is exactly that they're doing. But early on in the game, I'm not 100% sure what that red destroyer is doing. I think he's scouting around C, trying to figure out what's going on there. Just go ahead and get on the cap. If you got one destroyer per side, you're in that destroyer. You got a 66% chance of getting on a cap that's not going to have a destroyer on it. So go ahead and get on that, see if you can capture it early, give your team an early advantage. Looks like he's not being challenged there, and C is being conceded. So the decision making has to develop in your mind here. When we see that one team has a massive advantage on the other side, on the eastern side in this particular case, we can go over there, support it, try and slow down the push, or we can go to our strong side and try and resolve that side as quickly as possible. So that's the play we're electing to make here. Helen is low, we're pushing forward here. He's going to go down anyways. So this is a bit of a kill steal, but if you're familiar with how this game works, there's no real kill steals in this. Don't worry about teammates finishing off opposing ships. It doesn't really matter. And the majority of the XP and the credits and all that stuff that you're getting from killing ships anyways is from the actual damage. The kill just adds a little bit of a bonus on top. So I always kind of joke about stealing kills, but it's tongue-in-cheek. I mean, go ahead and steal all my kills. It would never bother me. But here, look on the map there, blue ring, we got plenty of room, and we're going to play destroyer over here and go ahead and get on A. And you can see, based on red's positioning, they're all kind of in the same area, and they're all far enough away from me that we can get on here comfortably without getting spotted. Again, I'm not sure why they haven't really captured C yet. Really slow in the uptake over there, and even though the red destroyer is going to have a pretty good game as it goes on, I'm not really impressed with that opening move now that I see it here. Keep an eye on our destroyer as well. Usually if you capture a base as a destroyer, you want to come back towards the side that you're spawned on. Push into the base like that. He's got no support. It's very easy to get cut off. And, all of a sudden a ship that you're not expecting to go over there pops up, spots you, and then everyone's within range to kill you. So very dangerous play, and if you keep an eye on the map, you'll see how it pans out. Moonshin over here, we pull forward. We're going for the kill shot. We get him a decent shot there, but that's a very, very dangerous ship. A well-played Moonshin can put up 150k damage with no problem, and relatively weakly armored, so you just want to go ahead and beat it up if you got the opportunity. And, you know, we're kind of in a crossfire position here anyways on him, so we're just trying to pile on the damage and go ahead and try and get rid of him. Again, the goal of coming over here to our strong side, the side that we have the most ships on, the side that we're most likely to prevail on based on the deployment. We want to resolve this situation as quickly as possible. Someone keeps tapping me on my team. I've noticed this watching this back. I don't know what's going on back there. Someone's goofing off, it seems like. But anyway, getting back to my point, you gotta wrap this up, and then the quicker you can do that, then it'll allow your teammates who aren't really paying attention to the map in most instances, then they'll just be able to look around on the screen, the game screen, and figure out, okay, what do we need to do? Because if we're keeping an eye on the map and you're thinking to yourself, how do we win this game, which should be a constant thought that's going through your mind several times per game. Well, you'll note we captured the flank A, we've captured B, that's the setup, but they have a clear shot into B. It's much easier for that C side to push into B than it is for A to push in there, just because the islands dividing A and B much bigger than the islands dividing B and C. So that, I mean, look on the destroyer, by the way, he's right under the Prince Eugene on the and down he goes there with the Dev Strike. So rushing a German cruiser, not advisable for any destroyers. If you're new to the game, don't rush cruisers. You'll survive for much longer. But again, don't push into their spawn either. Come back and then try and figure out, play on your end of the map usually. 95% of the time you want to be on the side of the map that you spawned on. Anyway, getting back to the point, we got to get B defended. That's how we're going to win this game. And again, we wiped out the flank on the east, so we got no threats over there. And now our team is going to turn around, and they're going to get their attention over here. Destroyer's dead, though. That means the spotting advantage is going to be squarely in Red's favor for the rest of this match. So I'm taking it upon myself as a good concealment type ship and an aware player. Hopefully, that's what I'm trying to be. We're going to try and scout here for our team. Basically, we want to be able to reset B. Our ships in their various positions will be able to do that. But again, the large islands dividing A and B, that's going to limit the ability to spot, which is why I'm going to basically... You could go directly south of B and just kind of spot that cap. And even if you're not shooting any shots, just the fact that you're spotting and hopefully your team's able to get some shots off, that's a good enough play. We did throw out some torps there because I'm noticing I'm spotted. We also note that there's no large surface ships that are visible that should be able to spot us. So we know the destroyer's in the area. Initially I thought perhaps he was on the north side, but it's, as this game develops, it's going to be evident that he's basically playing directly south of B. Now he's going to be launching a couple torps here and there, but and there's the first salvo, but basically staying more or less, we don't really know ever because he doesn't ever become spotted, but more or less he stays directly south of B and just sitting there. You could even park, drop the anchor, as long as you don't have anyone pushing into you and you're not in danger of getting spotted. That's an outstanding play. And look at this, 5 ships targeting us. Holy smokes, we're in trouble here, and we're basically broadside of the majority of them. I was went a little fast and loose there. We do go ahead and pop the smoke there just to stay alive and get those 5 guns trained on someone else. But that kind of prevents me from making the play. Again, the spotting play. I want to be more to the east of my position here, ideally spotting the entirety of their team, just so that my teammates can reset all these ships, because they're each going to be capturing those points, the capture points for the base. And we need to hit each of those ships individually to keep resetting the base. We want to maintain control of B, even though we're not getting points from it currently because they're on the cap. We still want to control it as long as possible, because the minute they flip it, then they're going to get those 3 points every 5 seconds. So right now the score passively in the background is staying equal. Okay, nobody's getting points from B. We're getting points from A. They're getting points from C. The minute they gain control of B, and we don't really have any way to push them off of that and recapture that, then they're going to get 6 points to our 3 every 5 seconds. And the earlier they do that, the bigger the impact. So the name of the game here, get those resets, and unfortunately we've been shoved out of our position where we were hoping to scout and spot those ships. But due to the fact that that destroyer is basically permanently spotting me and everything to the south end of the map, it's forcing me to come back here because we don't want 5 ships, especially 3 battleships and a cruiser. I think it's the Eugen still. We don't want those guys blasting us in the Amalfi. So we want to limit how many ships can potentially shoot us at any time. And we still want to be kind of dealing damage, distracting these guys, whatever. So good position by, I believe it's the Shiratsuyu, keeping us basically perma-spotted. Yeah, he'll launch torps at the battleships. But in my mind, the spotting play that he's been doing for the last 5 minutes and will do for basically the remainder of the match, that's the part that I'm impressed most with, because usually random destroyer players don't even know, they don't consider the spotting element of the game. Torping battleships, that's all they think about. As they get better, then they'll start to play the caps, and then they'll start to counter the destroyers. The final piece in your evolution as a destroyer player, usually that's the spotting. And there's another kill stolen there, brilliant job. But the Scharnhorst actually whacked him with the torps, which was an outstanding play. And then the Massachusetts, low and down he goes. But note, they still got the 2 caps to 1, and we got ships that are low. So if they kill a couple ships and they're getting those points in the background, that's when those games flip. So it's very easy to sit there and say to yourself, okay, we're up 2 ships, they only got 1 battleship left, this game's over. No, you don't want to adopt that mentality. That's when these games that look like they're wrapped up go awry. Note we drop spot here, so we have put that island directly to our east, southeast at this point in time, in between us and the destroyer, at least momentarily. And we're just going to keep spitting out randomized torps. And people that, you know, if you're overly concerned with your stats or something, you might not want to make those plays. Get the torps out. We got nothing else to do with them, and they reload relatively quickly, so just spit them out. You might hit the destroyer, and if you do, it's glorious, and it wrecks their game. But there's nothing else that we can potentially do with them until they would be ready to be reloaded anyways. So my philosophy, especially in cruisers, where you're not going to be focusing as much as destroyers would be on precision-type torp strikes, just get them out there, zoning torps, muddy the waters, make it dangerous for those ships to be out there. So we've got a Eugene left. He's very low health, and then we got the destroyer. So the team's doing a very good job here. We just want to seal this game up. Now the Eugen, he's trying to hide down here. Whether he's getting ready to use a heal or not, we don't know, but we want to get him off the board for sure, just to make this a little bit easier. We don't have any great tools to deal with destroyers in the ship, but we're still a cruiser, still got some mobility. We're still the best option to deal with the destroyers, and there's some torps coming around. So he had a pretty good idea of where we were. Eugen gave us a pretty good whack. Looked like he hit a citadel or 2 with the AP, which is, of course, a dangerous projectile from that ship at that distance into a broadside Amalfi, so we needed to be careful there, but no harm, no foul. And now we know basically where this guy is, and the teammates that we got left, they're going to do a great job. They're going to get on B, and then they're going to go to C. But here's the mistake that the Shiratsuyu makes, is he puts himself, you know, let's say he's still trying to win this game, it's still in contention. Why this is a mistake is he's allowed me, the cruiser, to get between him and the battleships, which are the ships he can kill, and the caps that he needs to defend. He needs, for sure, those 2 caps. And there we got Spotter. We're just going to go ahead and blind fire, no big deal. But you see what I'm saying. He needs to get on A, potentially. Well, he can't do that if I'm on the cap, which we're going to be on the cap, assuming he doesn't hit us with torps here, which, spoiler alert, he damn well almost does. But not only does he need to get A, but he needs to defend the caps, and he can't do that because he's got a cruiser in between him and that position. So it probably didn't really occur to him, you know, where should I go? But it was a crucial mistake nonetheless, and I'm just trying to point that out to you guys so you understand that the positioning, we've cut them off. And destroyers, you can get cut off very easily, and oof, we got away with it there. But, you know, he can't get through me, especially now that he's on torpedo reload. So he was going to lose the game either way. I know maybe it sounds like a nitpicking type of a situation, but I'm just pointing it out because it is interesting as a cruiser player, potentially. Can I cut this guy off? And as a destroyer player, you got to keep an eye on your position and make sure you're not cutting yourself off from where you need to be, because there's absolutely no way he can really get through here. And most cruisers would have sonar, some of them would have radar. This is kind of one of the least effective cruisers in terms of spotting this guy at tier 7, but nonetheless, he's kind of removed himself from the play. So that's gonna wrap it up in that game. We got some kills, no big deal. A couple of them are kill steals. Got not a huge damage game, but I thought it was interesting, number one, to highlight the effective job that Chiratsuya was doing, keeping us permanently spotted. Unfortunately, his team didn't capitalize on it. He had those 5 ships at one point in time were all looking to sink me, but the guy kept me spotted after that, and they never really put themselves in a position to end me and the other guys. So anyway, that's going to do it for that one, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave below. Love to hear from you, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.